Morgan production.
Thragg can physically shatter planets. He can fight inside the core of a star, move at 1,000 of times the speed of light, and punch completely through the strongest beings in his universe. But if you drop the Grand Regent of Viltrum into Jujutsu Kaisen, his physical stats are completely useless. Today, we are proving exactly why JJK's broken, reality-bending mechanics absolutely humiliate raw, continent-crushing power. Let's go! Let's start with the absolute ceiling, Satoru Gojo. In a pure physical fight, Thragg is infinitely faster and hits infinitely harder, but speed and strength do not matter when you cannot punch through the literal concept of distance. Gojo's Limitless divides the space between them infinitely. This is what most people don't understand. The harder and faster Thragg pushes, the slower he moves. The second Thragg realizes he's swinging at thin air, the fight is over. Gojo expands Unlimited Void. Now, Viltrumites have enhanced brains to process information while flying at light speed. But against Unlimited Void, the biological advantage becomes a fatal weakness. Their hyperactive nervous systems would process the infinite flood of information even faster, instantly burning out their synapses and leaving the most dangerous alien in history completely brain-dead. But what about the King of Curses? Even in his true Heian form, Sukuna's standard cleaves and dismantles are not scratching Viltrumite's durability. Thrag's cellular density is simply too high. Sukuna's absolute only win condition is the World Cutting Slash. Why? Because World Slash doesn't target Thrag's body. It targets the literal coordinates of space that Thragg occupies. It does not matter how dense your cells are, if the space your body exists in is violently bisected. But here is the brutal reality. The speed gap is massive. To even get the attack off, Sukuna has to forge a desperate binding vow. The exact millisecond he perceives Thragg. It is a pure quick draw. He lands it, Thragg is cut in half. He is a fraction of a second too slow, Sukuna's head is punched into orbit. Now, Yuta Okotsu and Yorozu both have the instant kill mechanics. Yuta has thin icebreaker to shatter space, and Yorozu has the true spear, which exerts infinite pressure. In a domain expansion, these become sure hit attacks that bypass durability entirely. But they share one fatal flaw. Thragg is an alien. He has absolutely zero cursed energy. By JJK rules, he is treated exactly like Toji or Maki. To a barrier, Thragg is a ghost. Before Yuta or Yorozu can even cross their fingers to expand a domain, Thragg shatters the barrier from the inside and violently turns them into red mist. This exact same rule completely destroys Hiromi Higuruma. People always ask, can Higuruma just put an overpowering enemy on trial and use the executioner's sword? No, because Thragg has zero cursed energy. Deadly sentencing cannot physically trap him inside the courtroom. You cannot confiscate the technique of a man who doesn't use magic. And you cannot execute a man who refuses to stand in the courtroom. Higuruma gets obliterated before he even opens his mouth. So, if barriers don't work, what about Immortality? Mahito is where things get genuinely brutal. Physical damage means nothing to him. He just reshapes his soul. And since Thragg can't perceive the contours of the soul, you would think Mahito wins with one touch of idle transfiguration. Wrong. Thragg doesn't need to see the soul. He will just relentlessly obliterate Mahito. Thragg is so fast, he would pulverize Mahito into a bloody splatter 10,000 times a minute. Killing the soul still costs cursed energy. Thragg wins. By forcefully draining Mahito's cursed energy reserves to absolute zero, until the curse literally cannot regenerate anymore. And that brings us to Kinji Hakari. Hakari hits a jackpot, gains infinite cursed energy, and becomes completely immortal for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. But Hakari's physical output is pathetic compared to a Viltrumite. So what happens? Hakari becomes immortal, Thragg realizes he won't die, grabs Hakari by the throat, and throws him into the vacuum of outer space. Immortality does not matter when you are suffocating in a frozen void. Hakari floats in orbit until his jackpot runs out, and then he dies. And before anyone mentions Mahoraga, the adaptation fallacy ends here. People think Mahoraga can adapt to anything, but the rule is simple. Mahoraga has to actually survive the first attack for the wheel to turn. Thragg doesn't use complex techniques. He just hits with the kinetic force of a meteor, exactly like Sukuna had to do with the fire arrow. There there is no adaptation. Thragg turns the Divine General into a blood mist on the very first punch. But after all of that, there is one ultimate anomaly. Fumihiko Takaba. To beat his reality-bending technique, you have to play along with his comedy, understand the beats and break his confidence. Thragg is a ruthless, bloodthirsty conqueror with zero sense of humor. He would just get violently, uncontrollably angry. And that is Thragg's downfall. His anger would only make the situation funnier to Takaba, which strengthens the technique. Yeah, Takaba refuses to kill, so he wouldn't actually finish Thragg off, but Thragg wouldn't be able to land a single hit. It would just be an endless, humiliating loop of a comedian treating a planet-destroying alien like a circus prop until the Grand Regent completely loses his mind. But I know what you have been waiting for. Let's be entirely realistic. Thragg is a tactical genius who has survived thousands of years of galactic war. If he realizes he can't bypass Gojo's infinity and he can't outfunny Takaba, he's going to take the ultimate coward's way out. He doesn't have to fight them. He just flies into orbit and shatters the Earth's core. Gojo, Takaba and Sukuna are still biologically human. They cannot survive the vacuum of space. Thragg wins the war, but only by running away from the actual fight and destroying the battlefield entirely. Speaking of destroying the battlefield, they just wrapped up the latest Jujutsu Shenanigans tournament in the community. Here is the absolute most insane winner of it, Nubi Che. If you want to get featured in the next video and prove your mechanics are better than raw stats, join the Discord in the pinned comment. See you in the arena.